Okay, dear participants, I welcome you back for the sixth session of FDP on computational fluid dynamics under ATAL, sponsored by AICTE. Today we are having with us Professor Nagesh K. Chaugule, Professor Dr. Nagesh K. Chaugule, as an expert who will be dealing with the ANSYS environment and will try to explain you as to how to deal with the this environment to resolve the uh, steady state and unsteady state heat conduction problem. I mean, once you are at least acquainted with such kind of a problem, maybe it is possible for you to explore it further and go through the details of the subject matter. I welcome Professor Chaugule to the faculty development program. I'm thankful to him that he has given consent to share his expertise in the domain of ANSYS Fluent, which is used all over the world to a very large extent for solving the problems in fluid mechanics and heat transfer. Professor Chaugule,
yes, sir.
Professor Chaugule is correct. I will take this opportunity to introduce Professor Chaugule first. Professor Chaugule is currently working as associate professor in mechanical engineering department of College of Engineering, Pune. He has completed his graduation from Shivaji University and post graduation from Mumbai. Am I correct, Professor Chaugule?
No, Walchand Sangli.
Balchan Sangli, sorry. So again, the Shivaji University, and and he has done his PhD at in Pune University. During his PhD, he has extensively used his ANSYS Fluent software, CFD software, and he has got a wide experience of teaching and research, almost of more than 20-25 years. and has published his work in a wide variety of journals and conferences. His PhD, as I remember, was in the area of extended surfaces. He has worked with the various types of fins to understand their performance of the fins for enhancing the heat transfer. And he has also conducted the the various the continuing education programs for the students outside College of Engineering Pune, also to a very large extent in the subjects like the CAD/CAM modeling, and he has got exclusive exceptional expertise in the software called CATIA, and he is an asset. I mean to say, he is an asset to the Department of Mechanical Engineering, College of Engineering Pune. So I welcome you, Professor Chougule, for this particular FDP as an expert. I'm sure your inputs will be definitely useful to our participants for exploring the further opportunities in the area of computational fluid dynamics. So over to you, Professor Chougule.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. First, good afternoon to all. First of all, I am very much thankful to Professor Chandrasekhar Sevatkar sir for giving this opportunity to be here in front of you all, my colleagues and friends. Professor Sevatkar sir, he is conducting such CFD courses since last 8 years. When he was in COEP, actually he was more instrumental. So actually I work morely front end side. So what work on the screen, but sir actually work behind screen. What happens behind screen, that he teach always. And he has actually I learned many things from Sevatkar sir. So once again, thank you Sevatkar sir for giving opportunity to talk with my colleagues and friends. So now I will start my presentation. Initially I will go through ANSYS environment. I understand most of the faculty, most of the participants are already worked on, have large experience also. But I think that I consider that a very new. There are few people who are not knowing anything about ANSYS. So with that level, actually, I start the initial introduction to the ANSYS environment, and then today we'll try to solve conduction problems 1D and 2D. Because already Professor Sevatkar sir has covered conduction part as well as I think convection part. So today we'll try to solve the problems, steady state condition problems, and tomorrow we'll try to solve the transient problems. So once again, thank you Sevatkar sir, and now I will start my presentation. So is it visible screen, sir?
Yes, it is visible. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So initially I will go through the automated product cycle. So earlier we were working with the conventional product cycle, where imagine that we are not using computer anywhere. So what is the need of computerization in manufacturing organization? Then why CFD is required? And CFD process, types of CFD codes available in market. Then introduction to ANSYS workbench environment, and particularly now Fluent interface. And then we'll try to see lab practice, that is on 1D conduction followed by 2D conduction. So all of you know actually the importance of computer. So everywhere in today's world we find that computers are used everywhere. So mechanical engineering field also witnessed not only tremendous modernization. So lot of advancement, modernizations are taking place in the field of mechanical as well as in the IT field. So we are trying to, or our purpose is to, or our objective is to be what you can say, the adopt the IT and computer science technologies in the mechanical field. The purpose behind is that to help the design, analysis, optimization in the manufacturing product with a short span of time. So within short span of time, if we are interested to complete all these tasks seamlessly, then only computer is the solution for that. So already you can see here the use of why we need to use a computer. So we need to use share interdepartment information. We need to use computer, or with the help of computer we can share the resources, though they may be located in different locations, geographically located in different locations. Then we can work collaboratively. So simultaneously, one person will be working on the design part, other person will be working with the simulation part, structural or thermal analysis or CFD analysis. So this way, all the people will be working collaboratively. Due to that, we can shorten the product development cost also. And then definitely our objective is to eliminate the repetitive task. So if I am doing the same thing again and again, instead of that, I can give this task to the computer. He can obey all the rules and regulations provided or instructed by you. So due to this reason, definitely we must go for use of computer in all the domains of the manufacturing organization. So just I'll take you back, evolution of engineering design and manufacturing. So earlier how we were working, and now how we are supposed to work, or we are working. So you can see whenever we start to think anything, so initially any idea will come from the brain. Then we put on this idea on with the help of pen and pencil, and then earlier we were creating a design using a traditional tools. Then we shifted to 2D CAD package, like AutoCAD is the pioneer in that field, and then we shifted to now solid modeling or the 3D modeling environment. So reason behind shifting to 3D modeling is that, so only 2D we can use the 2D drawings, but in 3D you can extract a lot of information. So throughout the whole product cycle, solid model can be data of solid model can be shared. For example, if I want to generate the costing of the object or the whole product, I can do it, because once we have a solid model, it has certain volume, and if I assign material property, a density will take and it will calculate the weight and cost, etc. Similarly, you can use for CAM purpose as an input CAD model. So everywhere solid model will act as an input throughout the whole cycle. Therefore, now presently we are we are dealing with the solid modeling environment only. So the output of all this will be the working drawing, and also, as I told you, solid modeling will be work as an input for simulation purpose also. So the working drawing will be the input for the manufacturing. So earlier we were dealing with the conventional machines where a lot of manual involvement was there. So operator was supposed to interpret all the actions of the machines, but now we have reduced our efforts, because in any type of variation there are majorly 3 M factors are responsible: the man, machine, and the material. So our purpose should be minimize manual involvement. Wherever manual involvement is there, try to replace the manual work by the computerization. So hereby, using CNC machine, I can write code and instruct the CNC machine accordingly. It will manufacture. So we are not happy with this stage. We can directly now from solid model directly transfer the data in the CAM environment, and automatically the GM code also can be generated. So this way we are shifting from traditional tool to the advanced tool. But basic things, these are ultimately tools, but the conceptual knowledge and the domain knowledge is very much essential. So as Sevatkar sir is delivering various lectures on the code part, so actually one should know the coding part as well as these professional softwares, usage of professional softwares. So unless until you don't know the behind scene how the things are going on, definitely it is it is not useful for just by directly shifting to the simulation environment. So the coding part is very essential, and then only we can use these sophisticated tools to reduce our efforts and to enhance the performance of the whole process as such. Okay. Now this is the product cycle. You can see traditional product cycle. Where is the general product cycle? Why it is a product cycle? Because customer is the start point and the customer is the end point. So initial needs are arise from the customers. Then those needs are fulfilled through the whole workflow, and finally the product is given to the customer for testing purpose, and then feedback will start. So this is a closed loop. We can say that's why it's called as the product cycle, but it's a traditional. Imagine that nothing is or in any department we are not using any computer tool. So this is just we can see we are using or doing all activities without use of computer. So what will the problem in that case then? So if I start to do all these activities, everybody will be repeating the same task. So a lot of activities will be happening throughout the organization. Then there are many departments and thousands of people involved in the organization. So to share the data, so main motto of computerization is the share data and share the resources. So with this concept, traditional concept, it is not possible. So what we can do, we can use now various tools. For example, CRM, that is a customer relationship management, or RPT tools, or CAD, or CAE tool, then CAPP, computer process planning. So there are many modules or the softwares available in the organization, many industries use. So these softwares must be very much connected. So they will be functioning on their own level, modular level, but there should be someone who should control all these activities, monitor, evaluate, and control activities. So for that, software called as a PLM is used. That is a product life cycle management. So life cycle, what is the life cycle of product? It is conceptualization to the disposal. After usage, I will dispose the product. So throughout the whole organization, whatever the things are happening, whether to monitor, control, and evaluate all the activities. So this PLM software is very much used. So this is just I wanted to show you how the computer is important nowadays in the manufacturing organization also. So around 100-200 softwares are now available in mechanical engineering itself. So if you have a domain knowledge, mechanical domain knowledge, plus expertise on these computational tools, then definitely you can work better in future. So we are now considering only the design part of the whole product cycle, and in design particularly, normally two very much important tools are used, like FEA based and CFD based. So today we are going to deal with the only CFD tools. So all of you know that CAE tools, or the CAE tool, is used for simulation purpose. So computer aided engineering. So it is a combination of, you can say, the CAD plus CAE. So initially we use this software to design the model and then simulate it, and finally we get the complete model, which is optimized solution. So for this, normally three techniques are used, like finite element method, we go for finite volume, and finite difference method. Now in today's design process, how the workflow is going on, just we can look out with the help of this slide. So initially you can define the problem on the by hand sketch conceptual model you can create with the hand. Then using particular CAD software you can create the solid model, and then you can perform apply your knowledge, whatever you have learned in your UG and PG level, 4 years theory. So you can apply all this your theory in simulating the objects. So that may be structural analysis, thermal analysis, fluid flow analysis, or it may be combination of these, like a coupled field analysis. So after performing simulation, you will have some results, and these results you can use as an input for sensitivity analysis. So in sensitivity, suppose if I consider one problem in that there are 7-8 geometric parameters and 10-15 operating parameters. So out of all these parameters, which parameters are more sensitive? more sensitive, which give the sensitive to your output. So those are trapped by sensitivity analysis. So here you may have a single local sensitivity and global sensitivity analysis. So after performing what you can say, filtering the operating and parameters, geometric parameters, then we can go for the optimization purpose. So here through the using software, you can optimize the solution, and finally you can manufacture it through CNC machine, conventional machine, or nowadays we can go for digital manufacturing, that is a 3D printing. So here in design optimization, you can optimization nothing but the finding best solution from the available set of range of parameters. So here we are interested to find out the optimum solution, best possible solution from the available environment or the available range of parameters. So this way, actually, in today's industry, mechanical industry, the things are going on. So we are not happy with only creating model and then performing one or two analysis. So actually, this is a basic part of the, you can say, as far as my knowledge is concerned, you can say that this is the basic part. And the further part is very much nowadays essential, that is sensitivity and optimization part. Now, why? What is CFD already? It is not required to now explain, because sir has taken yesterday as well as today's lecture. So, but just I wanted to show you how it is useful now, or how it is easier compared to earlier case. Just with the help of this screen or the here images, you can come to know earlier 50 years back how the people were working, what was the problem with them. So they were dealing with only in kilobytes. They were playing with in kilobytes, but now we can play with megabyte or even terabytes also. So the high computational capacity, or the, as I told you, tremendous advancement in the IT and computer, how it helps. Definitely here CFD is one of the application where the use of advancement or the advancement in IT and computer, which will help to mechanical engineer to solve very complex and very close to nature problem. So normally in solution, what we do, we make, as a mechanical engineer, we make many assumptions. So if you go on assuming many things, then your problem becomes simpler. But in nowadays, using this higher capability of the computational, so you can make very less assumptions and then calculate make the calculation very complexes. So analytical fluid dynamics and external fluid dynamics, already we are having the tools, but CFD mode, here you can digital computer and advanced improvement in the computer resource, which helps lot to solve very complex problems and multi-physics problems also. Now, why the CFD we use? So definitely here now we can use simulation-based design instead of build and test. So instead of making it, first of all, you can do it, simulate it, not animate. We simulate. So as actually physically or the environment in nature, if the system is working, same way we replicate in the computation model and try to solve it. So it is not animation, it is a simulation. So realistic. So whatever the realistic models or the inputs available, then realistic models we created and solve using the simulation software. So a lot of efforts are reduced here instead of creating it and then testing it. So that iteration is reduced with the help of this CFD simulation software. And definitely the second reason, so here we can work with the many different types of physics. Then here, for example, you can full scale simulation. So we can simulate the whole ship as well as aeroplane. Then we can deal with the environmental effects, then hazards and different physics. So as much as different types of the simulation is concerned, we can deal with any type of problems nowadays using a CFD. And as a rule, CF does not see, but this CFD is the tool. We cannot replace the measurement completely, but amount of experimentation, the overall cost can be drastically reduced using the CFD tool. So just like as I dealing with you explaining the need of computer, why it is required. So one point I noted that is a collaborative work collaborative. So earlier you can imagine the 20 years back how the industry was working. So they were designing, tooling, testing. So whole same thing they were doing again and again, and with large span of time they were completing the task. But nowadays customer tests are also changed very frequently. Even I purchased today mobile, but even after 6 months it is working, functioning properly, I want to change it because customer tastes are changed. So to cope up or the deal with such difficulties or the challenges, definitely we must go for the or we must take the help of the computer, and particularly CFD analysis, like CA analysis. So here these things are done by in iterations only. So in further slide you will come to know how the software, this CFD software, can reduce this project development cost by using the computational tools. So with this slide we can understand the whole design process we can shorten and make the available product in time to the customer or quickly. Now as far as applications concerned, you can use everywhere. You can use everywhere. Presently we are working on due to COVID situation, we are one of my student, he is working on now air curtain. So to replace the mask, we are working on the air curtain. So these things are the CFD can be applicable or used everywhere. You can use aerospace, automotive, biomedical, you name the field where nowadays CFD is possible. Even HVAC or marine applications, everywhere we can, even sports also we can use. Nowadays we use CFD. Now how CFD works? So if you consider any engineering problem, it is governed by certain equations and certain boundary conditions. So it may be elastic problem, thermal problem, or fluid flow problem, or combination of these problems. So these all problems I can represent in the governing equation in differential form, and then I can add some boundary conditions. So but these, as they are in PD form, computer cannot understand. Those must be converted to what you can say the algebraic equation form. So we can convert this these governing equation, the algebraic form, with the help of this simple formula KUF, where here you can see the K is the material property, U is the behavior, that is the output, and F is the actions or the boundary conditions. Now we are dealing as here with we are interested to see the fluid dynamics. So here you can see the viscosity. So material property of the fluid property I will give as an input. Then the body forces I will give as an input, boundary conditions, and then I can get the output like velocity, pressure, or temperature, etc. So CFD part we can, as far as professional software usage, we can categorize the whole task into 3 phases. A pre-processing part, it's nothing but the input, giving input to the software. Then solving, that is a solution. So different solvers we use to solve the problem. And then post-processing. So once we have got the solution, we have a lot of huge data available. Through that data, we can draw some conclusions in the form of pictorial representations, or in the form of videos, or in the form of some textual data. So here in pre-processing, you can give all the inputs. Then in solving, appropriate using solver, software will solve the equations, and then you'll get the result. Now the commercial CFD codes like ANSYS, then Autodesk CFD is available. Creo simulation software is also available. Star CD. There are so many softwares available commercially, even some free form also. Then the research code, CFD code available, and public domain softwares are also available. And other than that, you have some tools available like a TechPlot. So Sevatkar sir, actually I learned this software again from Sevatkar sir. He used plot extensively while plotting the results. Normally, all these professional software gives the output but they have some limitation. But TechPlot is the excellent tool for plotting the graphical 2D as well as 3D plots. So here we are going as a general purpose software which deal with the many physics. So we are dealing with the normally here Fluent. So we can use CFX also. In ANSYS you have a Fluent as well as CFX you can use. But as far as pre-processing part, you can use Gambit earlier. Then you can use the ICM as a module. Then design space in Workbench and Space Claim presently available, which is a direct modeling software. So these are the tools which are available for the pre-processing. In Solver, either you can go for Fluent or CFX, and post-processor normally we can use again Fluent and CFX. So other than that, you can work on the professional other CAD softwares who are specialized in the CAD modeling like the Creo, CATIA, or Fusion, Inventor, etc. But in this case, you need to import the model, and during that there may be possibility of some errors due to repairing geometric purpose. So as I told you, ANSYS can deal all type of problems, and not to that level. Even we can go for optimization. So these are the different tools available in the ANSYS environment. You can use ANSYS CFX, then Fluent. You can use ANSYS ICM, CFD software, and presently the new look or the platform is available, that is the ANSYS Workbench, which is a cluster of simulation analysis plus optimization modules. This is the common environment which integrate all these tools. Suppose if I am working with the structural and the output of structural I wanted to give for the fluid flow analysis, and output of fluid flow analysis again I wanted to give for some electromagnetic applications. So these type of applications of the simulations you can do seamlessly in single environment. I can extract the data from one module to the another module. I can use output of one module as an input for next module. So this is completely integrated environment, seamlessly environment. So you did not shift from one software to another. Everything is available in bundle form in one suite itself. So you can work as a design modeler, meshing, then simulation, then other type of simulations, optimization. Everything you can do in the ANSYS environment through the Workbench environment. So this is you can say the anatomy of the ANSYS Academy CFD. So here you can create geometry using design modeler. Then you can use ANSYS meshing. Then for setup and solving you can use CFX as well as Fluent, and then for CFD post, finally for CFD post for post processing. Now this is the first screen of ANSYS Workbench. You can see here there is a standard toolbar. So here in toolbar you will have, you can see the these toolbox we can categorize. So toolbox is nothing but the various tools which are available for our purpose. So these toolboxes are categorized to 4 to 5 sub compartments, like an analysis system, then component system, custom system, design exploration. This is used for optimization purpose. This is the project schematic view. So at left hand side you can see the toolbox where various types of templates are readily available. So the first we'll see about the analysis system. So what is analysis system? In analysis system, see it contains predefined template. For example, if I am interested to perform this structural analysis, so you have a static structural module available or template is available. Or if I am interested to perform the fluid flow analysis using Fluent, you have the option is available. If you are interested to work with the CFX, CFX template is readily available. So once I call it, automatically it will contain all the sub components like the geometry, mesh, setup, solution, and result. So everything is available in one, you can say the bundle form. So this is the first part, we can say the analysis system toolbox. So standard templates are readily available, which is the first part you can say of the toolbox analysis system. And second, component system. So from name itself, you understand it's a component system. So there are different sub-components. As I told you, geometry is one component, mesh is one component, and then the simulation setup is one component. So here you can call one by one and then join them to each other. So this is, if you are not happy with the previous part, the analysis system, whatever the templates available in the system, if you are not happy with this, then you can go for the second part, which is called as a component system toolbox. So on right hand side, you can see here the different tools, like even you can work with the mechanical APDM. So the people who were working earlier, they are very much comfortable with the APDL environment. So you can call APDL and then connect to Fluent. This way also it is possible. So this is the second part of the component system. And then custom system toolbox. So here sometimes, as I told you, we need to perform the coupled field analysis. Like initially I will be doing some fluid analysis. For example, here the hot water is passing through one tube and another tube, the cold water, it is mixing, and later on this mixed hot water is going out. So if I am interested to give the some output of this CFD to the input for the structure, so some pressure will be generating. So the fluid pressure, how much pressure and temperature, that I wanted to give as an input for the static structural analysis. Then I can use here FSI, that is a fluid solid interface, fluid structure interface, using CFX as well as. Then there are other tools like a pre-stress model, etc., vibration or structural analysis, or response spectrum analysis, or thermal stress analysis. So these are, you can say, the custom system toolbox where different physics are involved and they are made available readily to you. So this is the third part. And the fourth part, which is very important as far as optimization is concerned. So earlier we were dealing with, or suppose if I wanted to work with the same example here, I may change the length of pipe, I may change diameter of pipe, I may change the bend of the pipe, and I may change the velocity of the fluid which is passing through. I may change the different types of fluid. So these different operating parameters and geometry parameters change. So every time what I will do, I will change by 1 mm, 2 mm, 3 mm, and go on running the simulation. But nowadays it is not required. So you have to give the range of parameters. For example, diameter vary from 20 to 100 in step of 1, and give the task to the software. It will change every time by 1 unit, and every time it will find out the simulation and it will store the result in the database. And from that you can find out the optimum solution. So this is very much possible now using a tool called as a Design Explorer. So the name also again explain. We explore the design using this module. So here there are different features available in the software, like what if condition. So if I change this, what will happen? So manual search method. Then you can do the sensitivity analysis. So already I told you sensitivity. So from the given available set of parameters, which parameters are more sensitive or relevant parameters. So just to filter the number of parameters, this tool is very much useful. Now once we filter the parameters, then I can go for the DOE, design of experimentation. So here the way we manually do Taguchi method. So earlier people were working with ANSYS and they were doing using the L9 array or L18 array, and then they were doing manually. But now this part is also not required at all. Here I can give the range, start limit and end limit and step size. So software will automatically solve all the iterations, primitive combinations, and then we can see the response surfaces. So the results will generate it, and from that it will build a mathematical model, and that is represent the response surface. Response means nothing but the output. And then this response surface model I can use as an input for optimization. So, and finally you have one more module called as a robust design. So Six Sigma analysis is also possible with the help of you can say the Design Explorer. So this is the capability of the Design Explorer. So you can do the optimization, parameter you can define, develop the parameter correlations also. Then generate the response surface, and finally you can optimize it. So here you can see how the path we are moving from the single solution to physics solution to the robust design solution. So initially single physics solution, then multi-physics solution, will go for the interconnect or integrate different platforms, and then we'll ask software what if condition. So if this I change, what will happen? Then I go for DOE, and finally I optimize, and finally again I can do the robust design. I can go for the robust design. So this is the general overview of the you can see the design explorer. So here CFD structure input output parameter. So initially I can define some input parameters. I must define some output parameters. So there are certain steps to follow that. So once I define that, then you will have a parameter set, list of parameters available, and then you can generate the DOE, the DX environment. So I will try to give one example how we can use this design explorer, not to stop and at only simulation point. So this is the example of EGR, that is the exhaust gas recirculation system. So all of you know this is normally used to reduce the NOx at high temperature in all IC engines. So here what we do, we recirculate portion of exhaust gas to the engine cylinder again. So here you can see the fresh air is coming from this port, and EGR inlet I am providing here. So it will mix to each other, and then it will come through the 4 outlets. Now what is the objective of this analysis? Here outlet pressure should be atmosphere. So our outlet pressure, so whatever the gas is exiting, the pressure should be atmosphere. Then there should be homogeneous mixture of the EGR mass flow and the fresh air distribution in each cylinder. It is not that only in one cylinder uniform and the other cylinder non-uniform. So in all cylinders, each cylinder, homogeneous mixture should be passed, and definitely minimize the overall pressure drop. So here we have a multi-objective problem. This is, we have 3 objectives, and to fulfill these objectives, what are the conditions? Boundary conditions. So fresh air mass flow rate, suppose I am considering 0.04 kg per second, and EGR it is normally 10%, that is a 0.004 kg per second. So this I am taking as a boundary condition, or the input condition you can say. So I am giving this input. So through this port, it is fresh air is coming, through this port EGR flow is coming, and then it is mixing to each other, and through outlet the mixture is coming out. Now what output parameter responses I will be measuring? Here I am using the total mass flow rate and total mass flow rate with and without EGR, you can see, and also delta P, that is a pressure inlet and pressure outlet difference. Now what are the design variables here? I am considering only here 2 design variable parameters, that is the inner radius of the round of elbow, this portion and this portion, and then outer radius of the elbow. So just I am changing the radius and my object, and I am checking whether my these 3 objectives are fulfilled or not. So here I can consider these 2 design variables in certain range. For example, the initial radius I will take 4 mm, and upper limit of radius I am considering as a 14. Then the radius outlet bend radius I am considering as a round radius as 6 mm as a start and 40 mm as a outlet. So here I will play in between 4 to 14 and 6 to 40 in step of 1. So here with this help of the software will automatically generate the DOE, and then you can decide the goals. So as I told you, there are 3 goals available for this problem. So we should select the appropriate algorithm for optimization. So multi-objective genetic algorithm, so MOGA. So there are different algorithms available in the software. So based on the requirement, you can select appropriate algorithm, and then we can decide the goal. So here there are three goals. So minimize, so you are the mass flow rate high importance. So even you can give the importance also, which has more importance, which has low importance. So the purpose of here in this analysis is a homogeneous mixture with here the but pressure difference is that not that much importance, so that I will give low importance. Now you can see here initial case. So initial, without taking any consideration, I will solve the simulation and see the result. So in that case, you can observe that the uniform distribution and through every port the air is or the mixture is not passing. Now how to optimize that? Then you can change the bend radius in the given state, in the given stages. So here you can see the P1, that is a radius one parameter, then P2 radius out second parameter, then these further parts are the response parameters. So the first two are the input parameter and last three are the output parameters. Those are delta P, then the total mass flow rate and the total EGR or the EGR mass flow rate. Now the parameter from any source. So now here, as I told you, we can consider parameters. So here I am considering only geometry parameters. The part of geometry, considering only geometry parameter. But the parameter can be anything, like you can import from the CAD environment. Suppose I am working already, I have worked with the Creo software and I have a model. So I can import, and I can, along with the geometry, I can import the parameters also. Now you are working with some structural problem and you wanted to import those parameters in the CFD. It is most possible. Okay. Now these parameters you can import in the environment, and then it will solve. So here again the derived parameters, once we get some parameters, like here I got the velocity or some then the other derived parameters also we can find out, and we can consider them as a you can say the parameters. We can convert to parameter. For example, heat Nusselt number. So here directly with the help of CFD software you cannot get the Nusselt number or Nusselt number. So you whatever the responses, heat transfer coefficient you are getting, you can use as that input, and then you can write the parameter or define the parameter in the software, and that parameter can be also work. You can check as a response surface. So the other parameter like the cost function or the stress or the meshing size also you can consider the parameter. So normally the mesh independence is a very important part in the simulation part. So here you can vary the or the mesh optimization so possible. So you can ask to vary the mesh size continuously. You start with the coarser and go to the finer, and every time you will find out the responses. You will try to find out the responses, and those responses you can check, and through that you can do the mesh independent analysis. So if your previous result with the given mesh size and the next refined mesh size result, there is no that much difference, then you can say that that mesh size is appropriate, and you need not go further finding the or fine tuning the mesh size. So that is also you can consider. So mesh size also you can consider as a parameter. So here, whatever the simulations we do, the software will solve the simulation with the input parameter, and here you can see the output parameters are shown by the software. And then you can also find out any important parameters through this parametric correlation chart. Then identify the degree to which you can define the correlation. So you can develop the correlation also here with the linear or quadratic appropriate using you can identify degree, define the degree, identify the degree. Okay, this part I will so this way what I mean to say, you should not stop to the simulation. After simulation you can go for optimization. So that capability is already available in the software, but very few people use this capability normally by people. Now project schematic. So now we'll try to see how the CFD will work. So here you can see, as I told you, an analysis system, there are standard templates available. I will simply drag and drop in the project schematic window. So that, for example, here I drag this fluid flow CFX. So along with that, it will be connected geometry, mesh, setup, solution, result. So initially this part is required. Now when I call in the project schematic environment, the status of all these modules will be shown by some you can say the markings or some symbols. So what those symbols means? So for example, if there is a question, field question is there, then you mean to say that, or here the attention is required. So we can't proceed further without that. So here, unless until I define the setup, don't go for, it is not possible to go for me solution. So this is initially you have to attention is required to resolve this, and then only you can go in further steps. Then unfulfilled, if it is not filled question mark, that indicate that cell do not have sufficient data. So some input data we must provide to the particular cell. So if you are not provided, then this type of mark or the question mark will be visible to you. So again, you have to solve this. Unless until you solve it, you cannot go further. And the tick mark, that indicates that up to date. So whatever is done or whatever you have given input, those are ready to solve, with the other cells. For example, now engineering data, you can see the tick mark is there. Geometry, so it shows that already geometry is created by the user or imported by the user in the environment. So geometry is already available. Now if geometry is available, then only I can go for meshing. So this symbol indicates that update required. So input, so if I change, suppose geometry some dimensions, so the meshing, again you need to perform the meshing. So input data has been changed. So if I make any changes, output data need to be updated. So we must update the data. So these are the few symbol identifications or meaning of identification. So in short, whenever you complete the task of simulation, in front of every cell there should be green tick mark, which indicates that you have done all the activities properly. So for every cell, you can right click and directly go to the shortcut menu. For example, here if I right click on the geometry, you can go into the new design model space. You can create a design, enter the modeling environment, and there is also one more modeling environment available in ANSYS, that is the space claim geometry. You can import. So this way you can directly link or use the shortcut keys also. Now once we complete the project task, it is always but natural that if I am working now on this machine and tomorrow in the afternoon session or the evening session, suppose I wanted to work at home, so I must carry the data which I have done or simulations which I have done. So for that purpose, we can archive the project. We can move the project data from one system to another system in single zip file. So with this facility, you can directly save the data in a zip file, and whenever you go to home, you start your machine, you can unzip and start your work. So this way you can work even though if two machines are not connected to each other locally, if they are not connected standalone machines, then you can do this activity. So after completing, you can archive the data. So to archive data directly, you can click File and Archive from the new box and specify the location and give the file name appropriately and click Archive. So zip file will be created. Now after completing this, when you go to home or some other place and again you wanted to extract data, so simply you can choose the file and restore archive from the menu bar itself. So it will restore the whole data in the one folder, and then you can open the your simulation and do further simulation. So this is very important. That's why I added these two slides, because normally people work at one place, or the students or the faculty who are doing their research, So throughout day they will be working in the college, and in the evening they also want to start some simulation at home, so late night. So definitely this facility is available in the NSYS. You can archive it and then you can restore and then start the work. Then for changing, some tools are very important which we need to use frequently, therefore I am showing to you. So even you can work with the different unit system. So how to invoke the unit system, that here is shown. You can work with the different unit systems by right clicking on the unit system, unit tab. Okay. Now, what are the steps involved? Already we have seen so many times, but I will skip just you can in problem definition, identification. So before working on the CFD simulation, some homework must be done, some rough work must be done. So initially you should take a pen and pencil and draw some block diagram, and initially define some goals. What are your objectives? Identify domain. So what will be the domain? What are the input parameters? Where the input parameters are coming, and what output parameters are required? So all these things initially, just like whenever we write program, normally what we do, we draw flowchart, then algorithm, write some algorithm, and then try to write code using programming language, and then run. So same way here also, you should, before working on any problem, first of all you put all the things on paper, and then shift to computer for the simulation. So in pre-processing, I will define the geometry. So the CAD modeling, either I can import geometry or you can create geometry in the ANSYS environment. Then second part is amazing discretization. You can divide the whole domain to small elements, control volumes, and then you can define the what type of physics solver settings you can do, and then you can solve the problem and finally examine the result. Okay. Now for modeling purpose, there are different tools available in ANSYS. So normally the modeling is done by different techniques. So already you are aware, you might have learned in CAD course. So the BREP, that is the boundary representation. So ANSYS is having the APDL environment as well as workbench environment. So whenever you will be dealing with the APDL environment, it is having a bottom-up approach. So initially you will create a point, then you will create a lines, then you will create a surface, then you will create the solids, and then combine the solid this way. So you start from the bottom and go up. So for that, in ANSYS you have a APDL environment available. So you can do modeling using a APDL environment, or in workbench environment, the feature-based modeling tool is available. So feature means you can see here the right-hand side. I can take a block. I need to cut. I need to add something. I need to create slot or holes or chamfer some edges, round edges. So all these actions are called as a one feature. So it's a feature-based. So normally, presently, all simulation as well as CAD softwares are feature-based modeling software, because there is a very tight relationship between the actual manufacturing process going on and the same way the tools are available for modeling purpose. So there is a very tight relationship between the modeling and actual manufacturing process. Therefore, in ANSYS also the design model space is available, where you can work, or behind screen you can use the feature-based modeling technique. And nowadays the space claim is also available in ANSYS environment, which is a direct modeling, or we call it a free form pre-modeling or history pre-modeling. So three tools are available in ANSYS, or you can import the model from the external environment. Okay. This I will skip. What feature-based modeling? So whenever, suppose you want to learn design modeler space in the ANSYS, so first of all, very much essential to learn these things. So these features, as I told you, the feature-based modeling software, workbench. So in this, these features are classified into 4 categories. What are they? The first one is called as a sketch feature. So I need to use as a sketch as an input and convert it to some solid object. So for example, this L shape sketch, if I drag normal to sketch plane, I will get the extruded object. If I rotate about the rotation axis, I will get the revolve component. If I sweep along the defined path, which may not be straight line, then I will get the swept object. And if I blend various size of L sections together, I will get the blended object or the loft object. So these are the normally tools very much useful for creating the simple objects. Then you can go for the some additional features like a place features like round, hole, etc., chamfer, etc. And then you can use some modifying tools like a pattern, multiple copy, mirror, merge, etc. So these tools are available in ANSYS Design Modeler also. And then you can use some reference feature. For example, if I wanted to create some spiral coil, so no software, CAD software has this capability to draw the spiral coil directly. So you need to write some parametric equations. Through that equations, you can define the tube. So why I'm showing these slides? Because suppose if you want to work, someone wants to work on the spiral coil simulation. So imagine that this is the hollow tube, spiral coil tube. So how to create initially the CAD model is very important. So basic knowledge of CAD environment is very much essential. Here using some parametric equations, I can create such user-defined, custom-defined models or the shapes. That is a reference feature or the datum feature we call it. And then finally, the step, you must do the grid independent analysis. So if I am varying the mesh size, so what will be the response, whether it is changing the response drastically. So in this graph, you can see that it is changing, but after that, it remains steady. So you can select the appropriate mesh size for analysis, because there are some constraints also. While solving problem, you may have some computational capability problem or computational solve machine problem. So in that case, or sometimes time is also constraint. So you must what you can say, the find out the golden mean from all these constraints and find out the appropriate, you can say, the mesh size. So this is very important step in the simulation, grid independence. So your result should be independent of the grid size. If I vary grid size later on, there should not be there should not or change, should not take changes in further modification or the refinement of the mesh size. So appropriate mesh size selection is also very important, and for that there are different parameters. And finally, you can validate with your analytical solution or with the analytical or experiment solution. Then carry out sensitivity analysis, as I told you, using Design Explorer. Then perform parametric analysis using DOE. So you can define some parameters and prepare a DOE, design of experiment table. And finally, you can go for optimization. And once you get the optimization solution, you can run the optimized problem again with some refinement and by using some, or you can see taking some minor values. And finally, this also very important, documentation, the report generation. So in ANSYS, whatever you do the simulation, finally it can generate the report in a report form, and that will help you for further analysis and the documentation purpose. So with this, I think with this introduction, now we'll try to understand the first problem as sir has assigned to me, that is a steady state 1D analysis. Is it visible properly? Hello participants. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So today we'll try to understand solve the diffusion problem, the conduction problem, which is in steady state condition. So what is the problem? Consider 1D Cartesian computational domain, size 1 meter. So the length is 1 meter. Left hand temperature 1D condition giving as a 0 degrees Celsius, and right hand side I am giving as 100, and I am selecting material steel, which is having some properties, given properties. So with this input, I wanted to solve the problem. The first case where without internal heat generation. So I am not considering any heat generation taking place. And in second case, I am considering that heat generation is taking place 30,000 watt per cubic meter. So with these two cases, we need to, or you can go through this tutorial today evening or tomorrow morning and try to solve. So step by step I have explained here, and finally we'll plot the results. So this part already Sevatkar sir has explained very nicely, and today we'll try to solve the 1D conduction problem, CHC. So this is a normal result. You can see one is the hot end, other is the cold end in the temperature distribution, and we'll try finally validate with the analytical solution also. Okay. Now, what steps to be followed? Presently, actually, it's a workbench 15, but presently now we have a 20th version. So in normally the versions changes, but the basic structure without disturbing basic structure and environment, normally the additional things they add on. So I have solved today in ANSYS 20 also, but the results or the steps whatever we have followed in 15, they are very similar. So whenever you start the workbench, you can see here on left hand side, the by default this analysis system will be opened. So from that you can drag. Now as we are working with the fluid, so from that you can select the fluid flow fluid here and drag and drop. So you can press the left mouse button on the this template, fluid flow template, and drag and drop on the in the project schematic view. So automatically this table will be available and cells are visible. As I told you, an analysis system, the standard templates are already readily available to you. Just you can drag and drop. Now here you can see the symbols or the here the all the question marks are available, means just we have started therefore. And as geometry is not created, first attention we must work on the geometry. Now I can right click on the geometry, edit geometry. I will edit geometry. Then parallelly I can set the unit system, change the unit system, and then I will be working on the design space. So when I click on the edit geometry, it will take you in the modeling environment. So in modeling environment, you can see here a fluid flow design modeler. So the design modeler will open. You can set the unit system, and then on right hand side normally it is called as a browser. So here in any 3D environment you will have by default these things will be given to you. That is a 3 plane mutual perpendicular planes origin. So XY, either you can work with the XY plane, ZX plane, or the XY. So initially you have to select the appropriate plane and then draw the sketch. So for drawing sketch, normally whatever was a sketch we draw, sketch normally these are the guidelines. A sketch must be fully constrained, and normally you should use maximum number of constraints and minimum number of dimensions. For example, if I wanted to draw or if I draw rectangle, you will see that there are 4 perpendicular symbols will be, geometric constraints will be there, plus 2 dimensions will be there, length and width. But if I wanted to draw square, the square must have only 1 dimension. So what additional constraint I can use? I can use the equal constraint. So the length, equal length constraint. The length and width both are same, so you can use the equal constraint. So this way, using the, whenever you draw sketch, you can modify sketch, you can dimension sketch, and you can apply the constraints. So sketch, you should, if you refer any CAD modeling environment, any Sketcher environment, these are the tools available. So drawings, there are some tools available to draw sketch, then there are some tools available to modify sketch. Once I draw, I am not happy always, I need to modify that, like I need to trim, I need to cut, I need to extend lines, isn't it? So some modification tools are available. Then you need to give the dimensions and constraint. So one thumb rule you always keep in mind, whenever you draw any sketch, the sketch must be fully constrained. It should not be over constrained or under constrained. And this sketch is constrained by adding minimum number of dimensions and maximum number of constraints, geometric constraints. Okay, so at bottom you can see there are two tabs available. Now you are working as a sketcher. So once you complete the sketch, you will temporarily come out from the sketcher environment, and then you will be in the modeling environment. Okay, so for drawing purpose, you can do some settings also, like you can set the grid behind screen, just like a scale, graph paper we use for plotting the graphs. So for normally initial stage, or this helps sometimes, you can define the grid size. You can check snap grid on also. So with the help of this setting, you can set the grid. Here you can see now the grid setting has been done behind the screen, which will help you draw. And on left hand side, you can different commands are available, like line, tangent, circle, etc. So with this, you will draw. Now here we are interested to draw one circle. I will draw a circle with 2 mm diameter, and then I will extrude it. So as I told you, the extrude. What is the extrude command? I can drag the sketch normal to the sketch plane. So I have drawn one circle of 2 mm diameter. Now I will drag that sketch by 100 units or 100 mm normal to the sketch plane. And this way you can see here the sketch one is already I have drawn sketch. Then I use the extrude tool. So here this is a feature-based modeling software. So whatever the actions I will take, commands I will use, those are listed in what we can say the history manner. So it has a history. It is also called as a history-based modeling software. So whatever the actions I will take, like extrude, I will revolve. So all those commands are visible in the chronological child feature form. So here in extrude feature, you can click, select the give the depth, and below that there is a one option called thin oblique surface. So as we are dealing with the solid modeling, so definitely you should keep default option as a no. Now once you create, now with this what we did, we created the CAD model. We created a one bar or the having a 1000 mm length and diameter 2 mm. Now next step is the meshing. Now you have to close the design modeler and double click on the mesh environment. So here at bottom you can see here, whenever I go into the fluid model, the mesh option, either you can right click or you can go to the option called here in the template, directly you can right click or double click on the mesh option. So now we'll be doing the meshing part. We'll be doing meshing part. Okay. Now in meshing part, you can define some mesh size, like mesh size real center to find and maximum face size is 0.25, and then click the generate. So whenever I click mesh, these options, details of mesh will be available to you. So what physics, which solver reference you will be using, then you can have a sizing, inflation. There are many options actually and finally you can see the statistics also, the statistics of meshing. So after doing, you will see the auto mesh here, you can see the meshing part, and then select the face. And now we are interested to solve this problem by referring to end points, end faces. One is left and right. So we should give some name. So this naming I can give in the meshing environment itself. So you can select the face here, right click and give the appropriate name. For example, you can give as a left side or left face, and right side as a right face on the right side. So directly right click and give the appropriate name. So these names will be automatically, once you apply, you will see the named selections, left and right. So both names, because I wanted to give, why I am defining these names, because I wanted to give boundary conditions now, temperatures. So initial temperature, so both temperature conditions I wanted to give both ends. So must define some names. Then close meshing window and double click on the setup in workbench. Now I'll go for setup. So you can see here step by step. Once you finish this meshing part, the against meshing, there will be the done side or the green symbol will be visible to you. So next step will be the setup. Now I'll go for setup. Go for setup. Go for setup. Okay. Now in setup, you can define what type of processing option you are going to select. By default, it is always serial. Then some display options you can be other than you can define and click OK. Then here in the setup solution, general, like you can check the scaling, they check the quality also. Then you can select the pressure solver, like normally we definitely go for the pressure based solver. Then here we are interested to solve the steady state problem. There by default it will be again normally see the options selected by default, they are the simplified options, steady state solution. So after this you can change the temperature of unit if required in the setup itself, and finally you can select the models. So we are interested to solve here only temperature distribution. Therefore, I must make on or enable only energy model. So there are different models available. Like if I wanted to solve some solar related problem, I can select the radiation model on. But now here I am interested only to solve heat transfer problem. So energy model, I will make it on. So you click, select and click the energy equation. Okay. Now you can define the next task is the define the material. So you see chronological order you can go. I define some setup in general, then model. Now I will be in the materials. Below that there is also phase. So if you are dealing with the multi-phase problem, then this phase will be visible to you. Presently it is disabled because we are dealing with only energy. We are solving only energy problem. Okay. So here you can define the select the material. You can define material. The library, huge library is available. From that you can select the material. Even you can define your own property also, new material also, and save in the Fluent database or user defined database. And then select material, and here you can give the energy. So as we are, you can click on the energy tab and enter 0, because here we are not considering heat generation. With no heat generation, we are interested to see the temperature distribution from hot to cold. So in second option, we will be entering here. So now we'll enter here 0, keep 0 by default, and then I wanted to give boundary conditions. So boundary, whenever you click boundary conditions, here it is visible now. See left and right. So whatever names I have given in the given to the face, same names will be available. So left means the left side, right means right side of the face. So I will click left, another window will come. So in this window you will enter temperature 0. So thermal conditions, you can define the heat flux, you can define the convection or radiation. So temperature I wanted to define, so I'll enter here 0, heat generation rate of 0, and material name, I will change material to the steel only. Then I will click on right and enter temperature. Now here the 100 degrees Celsius. So this is a simple problem. So only I will consider only temperature. So 100 degrees Celsius thermal. Okay. And then you can set the residual or the setting monitoring. So monitoring purpose. So what you are interested to monitor here, you can note down and you can enter the iterations to plot. So how many iterations you need to solve. So for example, here 1000 iteration to store. So all these things you can set as per your requirement. As per your requirement, even the what you can say the this setting precisionness value also you can change. And then you initialize the simulation. So initialization simulation, normally default setting we select, that's the hybrid initialization. and then click run calculation and enter the number of iterations required or wanted to simulate, and run simulation. So it will simulate all the data, and parallelly you can monitor the results also. So sometimes in some simulation we are interested to monitor at particular location. For example, on this pin, if I am interested to monitor the temperature distribution at the center of the center of the wire, so I can define one point also, datum point on the geometry, and in monitoring I can add some here the that point. So every time, so here whatever the plots are you are observing here, some energy curve you are observing, similarly there you will observe the one curve for temperature distribution for that point on the temperature at particular location. So why I am saying this, because suppose if you have you are doing some experimentation and you have located some thermocouple at particular locations, and you have that experimental data, you want to cross check with the simulation data. So same location you can define some data point in the CAD this simulation environment, and those values you can monitor, you can store and cross check with your the actual experimental result. So while running or the simulation, you can monitor these responses at the given locations. So, and close window, and now so the simulation part is over. Now pre-processing simulation part is over. Now last part is the what you can the post processing. So you can go into the simulation post CFD or post. So where you can see the some symbols available readily. So this is a symbol of contour. So we are interested to generate the contour here now, graphical representation. So once I click this contour, so it will show the results. Now temperatures we can set here, this legend you can set as per your requirement, and this way you can see the temperature distribution from one end to another end in Kelvin. Actually it is happening. Now you can cross check. Now the last part is very important, that is the validation. So as the 1D and there is no any heat generation, so simple equation you will get 120x. So I have plotted with the help of Excel here, so and checked the results. So ANSYS results and the theoretical, they are very much matching. Being a simple problem, they are very much matching here. Now in second case, what I am considering the heat generation. I am giving heat generation as a 30,000 watt method. So in cell zone condition, you can click on solid, and in solid itself you can have source. So here you can select the appropriate material and click on the here source. So you can click on edit button and enter value energy resource. So here you can enter the 30,000 value. While entering value, always keep in mind the unit system here, watt per meter cube. So same unit system should be there in the problem. Otherwise, you have to make the changes or do some calculation and enter appropriate with the units in the ANSYS and click OK. Only this much change I have done, and again I will run the simulation. So with this 30,000 heat generation, I will get this temperature profile along the length 1 meter this time. So I checked with the ANSYS as well as theoretical. You also check with the both and cross check the results. So this way, this task you can complete today after this presentation or the late evening, so that I can cover tomorrow 2D problem, steady state as well as unsteady state. So with this, I think I will stop here. Once again, thank you, Professor Sevatkar, for giving opportunity to talk with my colleagues. Professor sir?
Yeah, I am there.
Should I conclude? Yes.
Yeah, we will take up some 2-3 questions if the
Okay.
participant have certain questions they have asked in the chat box. I will communicate those questions to you.
Okay, sir.
One question is, when will we select turbulence K epsilon and K omega models?
Okay.
Actually, we have not gone through the K epsilon and K omega model. We are still only dealing with the steady state and unsteady state conduction problem.
Okay, but still,
Maybe,
sir,
sir, you can answer this question because you have.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, I have worked during completing my PhD thesis work. I had used these models, and also during that period, Professor Sevatkar sir has helped me a lot actually. So we were initially I had solved with using one turbulence model. So he suggested me to select whatever the turbulence model available in ANSYS. You try to solve the same problem with all turbulence models with different ranges, and then check which model gives the consistent result. See, these turbulence models are not applicable to all the problems. So it varies from the problem to problem. So you have to check through your previous papers also, some research papers, as well as some doing some trials. You can check which model will be suit to your problem. And there this way you can actually work out. Over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Then there is a question: which radiation model is best suited for solar energy related problems? The question is again application oriented. I mean,
My
we are
application.
our
See,
focus is still on in the basics.
and
Okay.
our purpose is to understand the basic environment and importance of usage of CFD tool. So further part, once you have entered in particular problem, you can dig in, you can try to find out through research, learn from research papers, and also I am available. My number is already available. So through this, it is not possible to give an answer to all. So we can discuss. Already one of my student has worked on the solar energy problem. Solar drying application. So I can answer later on to the particular professors.
Then there are one or two questions like this, sir. Can we do CFD analysis of two-phase system? Yes, we can always
Yes,
do
yes.
two-phase system. This is the question.
See,
asked.
nowadays everything is possible with the CFD tools.
To solve the two-phase problems, maybe we have to consider the surface tension forces, and the additional forces are to be considered and are required to be incorporated in the model which we select and we carry out the analysis. But this is again the question which is beyond the scope of our FDP, because it is for the beginners. Most of the questions are application oriented.
Yes.
But yes, of course, two-phase system can be resolved with the help of. Then there is question: is ANSYS is open software? No, it is not an open software.
But nowadays, student versions are available. Students can download and as a student version, and they can use it, sir.
Then question is: doing meshing or grid generation in ICEM, CFD, and ANSYS Workbench is same. Is it same in both the cases? That's the question, sir.
No. Actually, ICM is more specialized for use for meshing purpose. It is having more capabilities. See, all these tools are available in ANSYS. You can use, and most of the tools fulfill your requirement. But when you go for very complex problems, then some capabilities are more in particular model.
There is a question: in student version, can we have all the features? Of course, not all the features are not possible. The
There is a node limitation. Node limitation also.
Node limitation is always there.
But for simple problem, they can work out.
Yes, for simple problem.
Otherwise, OpenFOAM is available. Lastly.
Is there any question by the participant, please?
Sir, CFD analysis we cannot do it by MATLAB.
Madam?
Cannot do it by MATLAB.
Madam, your voice is breaking. Can you be little louder?
Possible, madam. So whatever now sir is explaining through theory part, you can write code for simulation purpose. She is asking whether we can use MATLAB.
Yeah, we have a licensed MATLAB in our university. So it is possible to code it through MATLAB also, right?
Yes, yes.
Not necessarily the ANSYS, right?
See, madam, ANSYS is a standard available professional software, whereas through MATLAB you can write your own code and develop your own application.
Okay.
So in fact, actually you should start from that stage and later on you can use the professional software. So whatever sir is teaching now through his lectures, please carefully see and try to write code in MATLAB or any, you can use any tool.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir. Hello, sir, voice is not.
Yeah, there is a question, how can we solve multi-phase flow? For solving the multi-phase flow problem, we need to take some additional efforts, in the sense that we need to appropriately select the models for multi-phase flow.
Yes,
And
sir.
when it comes to multi-phase flow, we need to incorporate the additional terms to take care of the
Yes, sir.
additional forces which are generated in the flow on the fluid particle. Especially if it is a two-phase flow of a gas and liquid, then the surface tension forces are required to be incorporated. And there is a provision in the software also to express these forces in terms of maybe Weber number or Bond number, and we can resolve those forces. For example, a simple problem of a bubble rising in a straight cylinder filled with a liquid, we can incorporate the region in which there is a gas, and then initiate the flow by considering the Reynolds number and Bond number and Weber number, and we can resolve that problem. It is possible. You need to explore the software for that. The question was asked by who? It is yeah, HOD Mechanical. No, I don't know the name. I hope, Professor, your question is answered partially.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Do we get to know how to fine-tune the grid generation in upcoming sessions? Sir, the question is how to fine-tune the grid generation.
Okay. Normally, what we start with the coarser size or the default size, mesh size, and then I will change mesh. Go on finding the mesh size stepwise. Suppose I changed last 10 iterations, and then suppose 9th iteration and 10th iteration response result or results are not changing that much. Then I can say that this is a comfortable elements or mesh size, and I can go for. Ultimately, it depends upon the computational facility available with you. You can go for more finer also, but there should be some compromise between the actual computation cost and your result. So just like a steady state analysis in heat transfer, we conduct the practicals 1 or 2 hours, and after 2 hours we assume that steady state has been arrived. But actually after 2 hours also steady state is not arrived. So there depending on your availability, the competition machines available, and your requirement also. Depend on requirement. Suppose if you are working on some biomedical application tool, so definitely you should go very finer mesh size. But it depends upon the actual situation and what you can say but this is the procedure. You go on simulating with varying the mesh size and then check the results. So if there is no that much change in the results for further refining the mesh size, then you can stop there. That thumb rule.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
I think we will take the last question here. Sir, can you please clear me what is a high fidelity and low fidelity meaning in CFD? The exact physical meaning. Chaugule sir.
No, no, sir. I can't. I have to
I
see.
mean, the question is, I mean, it is something not related with.
See, basically,
Maybe
actually,
Professor Rajnikant BK, we will get back to you on this high fidelity and low fidelity mini.
yes, yes, sir. Actually,
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
I will also go through and let you know, sir. Later.
Maybe beyond the scope of
Presently, I don't know.
We'll get back to you on this.
Yes, sir.
So,
Okay, thank you, sir.
thank you, Professor Chaugule.
Thank you, all the participants, and
we on behalf of Government College of Engineering and Research, Avsari, we extend our sincere thanks to you.
yes, thank you all, sir.
GCVRA will be always grateful to you for this contribution.
Okay.
Thank you very much, dear participants. It was pleasure. Thank you very much for your patience listening to Professor Chaugule. We will meet tomorrow sharp at 10 o'clock for the next session on pure convection. Thank you very much.
Oh, sir. Thank you, sir.
We shall leave the meeting now.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.